Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here. Welcome to my review for the DonBrothers figures. We already had Don Momotaro released as a bit of a sneak preview release, and now the other four have released to complete the team. Also of note, you can buy this as a complete set of 5, which is nice, and there also is a Zenkaiser Black figure, which I will be reviewing separately because he shipped separately. So these are effectively just kind of like cheaper little semi-gimmick figures. They don't really have a gimmick, but they're kind of in that category like Rider figures where it's like this price level. And they're sort of also like Soto or Shoto figures, but they're already painted, no stickers or anything like that. They're kind of that scale and that look, and they have pretty much all the basic details you'll need and are decently articulated. So that's it for the review. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go ahead and take a look at them individually. Starting with Oni Sister, I think these look really good. Like I mentioned, they have all the details you need. They're not going to be figure arts caliber or anything like that. There's going to be some missing paint. Some things aren't exactly 100% proportionally accurate or detailed accurate. But for what they are, I think they get exactly what you need. And I really like the look of them. I think the silver paint looks good. I think the yellow looks nice and vibrant. The black contrasts nicely. It all just flows very well. The weapon looks a little cheap, and when you turn it around, you can see it's hollow. But you know, overall, it's not bad. And articulation-wise, it's pretty much around the neighborhood of like a basic PR figure. You know, you have a ball joint here, you got swiveling, you got an elbow joint, you have swiveling at the fist, you have a nice ball joint at the leg, knee joint right there, ball joint at the foot, you have a nice head and neck articulation, you can do creepy exorcist stuff. All around has decent articulation for what it is. And they do feel a little bit cheaper, but I wouldn't say cheap. I feel like there's this scale in my head of how much something costs versus how it feels in terms of the price, and I feel what these cost versus how they feel matches up exactly right. So they're not going to feel exactly high quality, but they don't feel like overly cheap to me, and I just really dig them. Then you got Saru Brother here, who I think has a lot of personality. They sort of represent his fur here with this sort of etched-in fur, which looks good. I wouldn't expect them to have tried to have done, like, actual fur. That might have actually made it look cheaper. But yeah, basically the same articulation. It's just a little bit bulkier around here, but you get some good range of motion. No loose joint problems, thankfully, and I really like the way these look. I think that they did a really good job on the helmet sculpts, too. Like, they're not 100% perfect, but I think they're pretty close to accurate for these type of figures. We got Kiju Brother here, who, just like blue, doesn't come with anything. If you couldn't tell, only yellow and black come with weapons. The others don't. I only note that because they also don't all come with their changers. I think it was a Don Momotaro that only came with his changer, which is kind of surprising. I expected them kind of all to come with their changers. That might be something that bothers some people. I'll admit it kind of sucks because since it's their changer, I kind of assumed they'd all come with them, but it's not exactly a deal breaker because at least it's not something like in Shinkenger where they're holding it all the time. Now, I really like this one. You know, oddly enough, this looks more real than it does in the show, outside of the top shots in there, but it actually feels more tangible than in the show. And setting aside my thoughts on the CGI, I really like the design for this character and the way it looks, and I think it makes for a really unique figure, and it's got a lot of personality. And in addition to the regular articulation, you know, you kind of got more extended legs, and the knee joints kind of like above the knee, which is strange. Sorry about the blurriness there. But you do have some extra articulation on some ball joints on the wings, so you can sort of have them flapping or down or up or a little bit. So that's kind of nice. It gives you a little bit of extra bonus there. This one does feel a little bit extra brittle just because of how thin it is. I wouldn't say it feels like it's really close to breaking, but I would suggest being careful with it just to be safe, especially around the legs. But I really dig this. Right, then we have my personal favorite of this weird CGI, you know, bit we're getting with these guys. I just really love the Sonic-esque character that this guy is, and he's just so adorable, and he also has a cool design at the same time, and I don't know, I really dig it. It's become one of my favorites as we've gone on. I haven't seen him in the show yet, though, but I'm just saying design-wise. And he's probably my favorite of the figures, too, look-wise, because he's smaller, all the details are closer together, and he has more silver permeating the design, and it makes it look a lot more full. And like I said, the silver paint on this is really nice. These could have very easily had a cheap gray plastic look to it, and I really like that with these, it's a nice kind of shiny silver. And he does have this star here weapon, which just comes out. It's not really a huge deal. Now, one little thing with him that's unfortunate is articulation-wise, he is more limited. You know, you have the arms that can go all the way around, but you do not have elbow articulation, which just kind of sucks. I know that it's small, and oftentimes when you get a smaller figure like this, you'll have that where it won't have elbow articulation, but I feel that there was room to have that, and it just kind of sucks having him feel more limited. Same thing like he doesn't have knee articulation. He does have the ball joint on the feet, and you can do creepy exorcist stuff, but that's probably my only major complaint, to be honest, about these figures is, again, I know I've had figures that are kind of like of a monster stature, and they don't have the arm and leg articulation, but for this, we always see him in all these cool poses in the promo, like kind of doing stuff like this, and it would be nice to be able to get it in there. There's probably some sort of logistical reason why not, but it's just kind of a bummer. Alright, we got all of them together in here for the final verdict, and overall, I really do dig these figures. They're not perfect. They're not like absolutely amazing, high quality, gotta have them figures, but I really like them for what they are. For the price point, they look really nice, they have good articulation, and frankly, I'm just happy to be able to have basic Sentai figures. That's not something we've always gotten, and especially since we're not adapting Sentai as frequently anymore with Power Rangers, there's some series we might never get figures for, so it's really nice to have basic figures in the main line to pick up that in my opinion look solid. So I feel like I'm overhyping them. They're not the greatest thing, but for me, I really dig them, and if you're like me and you've always wanted a basic figure in your Sentai line, I think you'll be happy with them. I think this bunch looks really good together, just like the Zenkaiders did. Anyways, guys, that's about it for this one. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you can occasionally try videos. DonBrothers, signing out.